Welcome to my first video review for Bread for Beggars. I'll try to do these video reviews each time a new superhero movie comes out. Sometimes, however, I won't be able to make it to the theater and I'll have to wait till they come out on home release, and then I'll just give the review as soon as I see the movie. My first review is for the new Marvel Studios film, Captain Marvel. My wife and I were able to get to the theater last night and see one of the early releases of the film. The movie was really good, but perhaps you've heard of some of the maybe negative criticism that's been floating around the internet about this movie. Now, sadly, some of that negative criticism isn't really based on the movie. It's just based on people's political opinions. If you watch the movie, you'll see that pretty much the reasons for that negativity is not there. So I encourage you to definitely go see the movie and see what a fun event it is. It really follows Marvel Studios' pattern of giving us quality movies that are really honoring the comic book material. Now, since it's the first weekend of the film, I'm not going to give away any big spoilers for the plot, but certainly I'll have to talk about a couple details as I go along. The movie starts with Captain Marvel serving the Kree Empire, an alien race that's trying to rule other planets. She's helping them to fight their war against the shape-shifting Skrulls. Now, as she's doing that, you quickly learn that she is suffering from amnesia. She has memory loss because of the event that gave her her Captain Marvel powers. She doesn't even realize that she's a human being from the planet Earth, of course, who is named Carol Danvers. She discovers more about that as the movie goes on, and as she discovers more, she grows in her superhero abilities. Early in the movie, she comes to Earth. And, if you hadn't heard already, the movie takes place in 1995. There's actually some pretty cool 90s nostalgia. You have a Blockbuster video store, you have a Radio Shack, and you have lots of 90s music, such as songs by TLC, Nirvana, No Doubt's in there, and a few others. Early in the adventure, she meets young field agent Nick Fury, which is really kind of an interesting thing because we're so used to seeing Nick Fury as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Avengers movies. But here we just have him as the young agent. And we see him interacting with Captain Marvel, and they team up throughout the film. One of the breakout stars of the film, which is kind of interesting, is this cat we meet. The cat is named Goose. And it's fun to watch what happens with this cat, and it has some pretty incredible moments. This movie is, like I said, very good. It's one of the top tier Marvel Studios films. If you saw Avengers Infinity War last year and you're eagerly waiting Avengers Endgame, you need to see this movie because it relates to both of those movies very well. So I'd certainly recommend that you go see this movie. As far as taking a look at the movie from a Christian perspective, for the most part, it's just a fun movie. But one thing I thought about was the issue of memory loss that came up with Captain Marvel. I think about how, as a pastor, I interact with people who either themselves are suffering from a memory loss disease, such as dementia or Alzheimer's. I think about how I've dealt with loved ones of those family members, and what a frustrating, illness that is. It's a weakness that their loved one is dealing with, that they are dealing with, and it's frustrating. But I think about how God encourages us to not be afraid in this life and to go to Him for great strength. He gives us many blessings, and just because a weakness doesn't go away in this life, that's not a big deal because we have heaven to look forward to where we'll be perfect, and we can trust in Him to take us there. Like I said, as Captain Marvel has to deal with memory loss, it's interesting. She becomes more powerful as she goes throughout the movie, as she kind of realizes who she was previously. In this life, we all have certain weaknesses that we have to deal with, and we go to God for strength. I think about, in the movie, you could also think about issues of being strong in who you are, and also things like using your gifts for good. Certainly things you see in superhero movies. And we certainly have plenty of ways that we can become strong in this life, but certainly the best way we get strength is through the forgiveness of Jesus Christ, and what a wonderful blessing that is. That's my review of the movie. I hope you get a chance to go see it, and I hope to do maybe more commentary after I think about the movie more.